Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. How are you? Special good morning to the viewing audience and all peppers out there. My name is Hadassah Charles McLeod. I'm the co-chair of the Women's Arm and your guest host for today's show. I'm sitting in for Felicia, who you all know she is very busy on the campaign trail as we gear up to what is going to be the mother of all elections. So I'm just doing what I can to help her in this situation. Today is Monday, the 27th of July, and we continue with the interviewing of our candidates. Today, first on the show, we're going to be joined by Mr. Sterling Lee Ha, the candidate for Mayaro. Let's just have his introduction played.
Mobile Racers Association and an honorary member, plus commentator for the Trinidad and Tobago Automobile Sports Association. Apart from cars, he is also a self-proclaimed chef, though it is a title well earned, as many peppers would agree, having tasted his hand. Cars are the center of Sterling's life, at work and at play. Apart from being an oft-awarded new vehicle salesman, he is a pivotal member of the local automotive racing community. He is a lead member of two related associations, being PRO of the Network of Automobile Racers Association and an honorary member, plus commentator for the Trinidad and Tobago Automobile Sports Association. Apart from cars, he is also a self-proclaimed chef, though it is a title well earned, as many peppers would agree, having tasted his hand. In the Progressive Empowerment Party, he has found his political voice and intends to use it to the benefit of the people of his constituency and the country. As he said, I believe in the policies and the procedures of this Orange Revolution, and I am going to work hard to implement them.
What an introduction. Good morning, Mr. Liha. How are you?
Morning, Hadassah. How are you? And morning to all our viewers this morning. I'm good. I'm good. Tired, but still have energy.
I could imagine. Thank you for joining us and taking the time to be with us this morning.
Anytime, anytime.
So we're gonna just jump right into the interview. You know, everybody wants to know about all the candidates, and this is your opportunity to continue to appeal to the constituents of Mayaro. Can you hear me? I'm not hearing you. I think you I think you either paused. Not hearing you, Sterling. I think you probably muted your audio or check to make sure your headphones are connected. I'm not hearing you. Maybe you should log out and come back in. Let's give Sterling a moment to work out his technical issues. So as everybody knows, we are on the campaign trail. A lot of you would have viewed our presentation last night on CNC3, which I mean, I was so excited. I was beside myself. I think that that would have been a dagger in the hearts of our political opponents. But it really, really does show that we are a cut above the rest, and the pep is here to stay, and we are forced to be reckoned with. Sterling, you're back.
Yes. Yeah, sir. My apologies. I had my phone was on the disturb and a customer was calling me. Even though they know I'm off on a Monday, they still call. So you know how
I
it
can
goes.
imagine. That's okay. It's good to have you back. So tell us about your constituency of Mayaro.
Well, Mayaro poses a how should I say different demographic, mainly because of Mayaro is one of the largest. It is the largest constituency throughout the Trinidad and Tobago. It's a massive constituency, and most of it is consists of farmlands. You know, Beach, in the Navet area, San Pedro area. These areas are large farming communities, and they're very wide and very big areas. And there are small concentration of farmers throughout those areas. That's in the Rio Claro area, whereas Mayaro is more concentrated on the beach side, um, around the Mayaro Junction, Mayaro Market. So in terms of challenges, it's a very large area to cover. But I mean, Mayaro has the same problems that most of Trinidad and Tobago experiences, and for me in particular, since I've been a child, looking at my grandparents, you know, water has always been an issue. Roads, of course, in those days, employment in the oil field wasn't that good in terms of local people from the community getting it. I mean, that improved over the years, but now that the oil industry is, now that BP has basically moved their head office away from Mayaro now, you find now a lot of people are not getting jobs in Mayaro, particularly clerical jobs. They have a lot of skilled people and educated people in Mayaro who can't get jobs. And I mean, even up to yesterday, I was speaking to a constituent in Rio Claro, a businessman, and he says 3 weeks now he hasn't gotten water. And in
Wow.
2020, 2020, why should people shouldn't have water in the taps 24/7? I mean,
Exactly.
I am fortunate in fact where I live. I really don't have water problems, and when water does go here by me, which is very rare, you feel like a fish out of water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And where my neighbors and are concerned, where we live here in Diego Martin, it's 24/7. I don't really have. I could safely say I don't have water problems. But why can't all communities in Trinidad and Tobago be like it is here? Why does it have to be
Exactly.
that these? And it's always the depressed areas. You know what I mean? The country
Yeah.
areas where the outer side, outer mind. And
Yeah, and
you know this.
we need more citizens to think like you that
Yeah.
not because an issue is not affecting them means that they don't bother with it. We need everybody to think I have water, fine, but my neighbor should have water too.
Exactly, exactly. Be- uh,
You know? Off
you don't want to know that your neighbor next door to you, who whether they've been there living next to you a year, a couple months, a few days, if your neighbor out of a job and they don't have food in the house and you in a position to help them, why shouldn't you? This is what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to live good
exactly.
with your neighbors. And if everyone from the government
Exactly.
thinks that way, we wouldn't PEP would not exist if the government of the day or the days or the years
Worked.
were doing their job.
Yes,
And clearly they're
exactly.
not.
So based on that, tell us about your work on the ground in Mayaro. What have you been doing?
Wow. I am a person that I operate on a different state of mind. I like to deal with people directly. And I may have a bad notion that I want to meet everybody in the constituents and talk to them and shake their hand. That's how I am tackling my community, my constituency. I want to meet everyone, whether you're for PNM or UNC or whether you're former red or yellow. It doesn't matter to me. If you want to talk and you want to engage, I will have a conversation with you. And I want to shake and meet with everyone. I am operating on a shoestring budget compared to my other candidates, and and they definitely some of them definitely flaunting how much they have to spend. I don't.
Hmm.
So the only way I could do what I can do is to meet with everyone. I have a car, it has gas
Yeah.
in it. It costs me a pretty penny to drive every day. I mean, yesterday was in excess of 8 hours in the car driving yesterday. That's usually how my Mondays and Tuesdays are for my communities because that's how I have a very small but potent team. My cousin who was born and raised in Mayaro and lives in Sapari now, so she's staying by her mom in Mayaro and she's working in Mayaro side. And I have another constituent from Rio Claro who is also a PEP member. I got from the PEP list from Maurice, and his name is Nishan. And so between my cousin Glenda and Nishan in Rio Claro, I really can't complain. These two have had my campaign on a, how to say, targeted, strategically targeting particular areas that we go to. Nishan in particular, who's also,
Yeah.
he works in the oil field and he's an oil farmer and he knows the whole farming community in Rio
Right.
Claro and the business
Right.
community. So today we're targeting the business community, which is, I'm hoping it's going to be very fruitful because I want to be asking for some donations as well because we need money to save this country.
Indeed,
Um,
indeed. But what has been the response like to you and to the PEP in general?
well, I was very surprised in a lot of in the San Pedro area, that we went to a community watering hole basically, and the funny thing about it is to the left of the bar is red and to the right of the bar is yellow, and everybody meets at this bar in the community, and they're one, and the only thing that separates them is the politics. And I met with them. This was last week Monday. I went down with Nishan and I was passing through, and we went in, and they all engaged me. I introduced myself, and I was very surprised that of the 15 or 20 of them there, they at least 50% of them have heard of the PP, and they were willing. They didn't even know they had a candidate, and when they met me, they were so happy to find out that they had a candidate for their constituents. All of them said, listen, even win, lose or draw, I voting for you. Just because you came
Wow.
here today, and met with us, this means a lot to them, knowing that a potential candidate is coming to the constituents just and coming to them to meet them. And they said the other candidates will just chuck my pass or speak on my pass, but you don't see them other than that. Um,
Yeah.
but this is how I all my life I've been in sales, and I always dealt with people with a certain level of trust. And this is a campaign for me that I want people to start trusting me and trusting. In order for me to sell the party, they have to trust me. And if I could win their
True.
trust, which means I could bring them. I mean, the ones who are on the sideline, of course, because the ones, a lot of them already they heard of Pep, they like of how our political, how Philip talks, and now that they've met the candidate for the area, they want to change. The common consensus on both sides is that the people who support the red side, they weren't happy with this current regime, and they don't want. They,
Yes.
they, they say, you know what, I'm not voting because I'm not going to vote for the other side, which is the yellow side. So I rather keep my vote to myself. And the same thing on the yellow side, and the same, both sides are saying the same thing. They say, listen, we have been yellow for the last 15 years and it has done nothing for us. Government come, government go, they don't do anything for us. We still have to fight and we get no support from government. No meaningful support is what is the complaint. And so
Hmm.
what they did is they decided that they were going to withhold their votes. They were not going to vote. So now that they have an option, they rather give a new party a chance
Somebody new.
and give them to give them an opportunity to
That
make a
is
difference.
awesome. That is awesome.
Excuse me.
So, Sterling, tell me, in interfacing with the constituents, what is the general consensus? What is the major issues facing them?
Well,
I know you mentioned
farmers need,
jobs and you mentioned
yeah.
water.
Well, roads, of course. I mean, these in Rio, heading to Rio Claro, if you don't have good eyesight, you're going to damage your vehicle badly. You're going to hit almost every hole or depression. I mean, from Mayaro Junction straight into Rio Claro, it's a minefield, literally. The road is undulating.
Wow.
It's cracking up. It's running off. There are parts of the road. There are, well, of course, holes is a normal thing in Trinidad and Tobago. The road is horrible. I mean, it's not impassable. So I don't want to get people the wrong impression. There are roads in the rural part of Rio Claro heading towards the farms that are really bad. Some parts of the road is falling off. Only single car traffic can pass through. I was even talking to in one of the pictures that they put up there. You see me speaking to a Rasta gentleman. He lives in Rio Claro and works in Arima, and he passes through a road. There's that gentleman there. His name is Navin. Nice guy. He has four
Hmm.
bright children. Young. I mean, they're doing well in school. But what he was explaining to me, it takes him about 2 hours to get to work on a morning. And the reason it takes that long is because the road is so bad. If the road was fixed and or at least in, as he puts it, 50% better than it is now, it'll take him an hour to reach to work on a morning. So you wouldn't have to leave
Wow.
5:30 in the morning
Wow.
to reach a remote to go to work. So these are little simple things that we could look at as a government or as a constituency to get some of these rural roads. And these are a lot of shortcuts, that could get you in and out of Rio Claro quickly within a fraction of time of either passing through south or passing through the Manzanilla side. Having to pass through Valencia and Rio Claro because those are very heavy congested areas
Yeah.
to get to Arima. So, and he's doing this with a car. So imagine if he had a pickup, it would
Hmm.
have been a lot easier for him. But again, a guy was even saying to me, he said, listen, eh, he said the maintenance on my car is ridiculous. Every time,
Yeah.
every 3 to 4 months, he has to change ends, get the car aligned at least once or twice in a month, depending on how much driving he does. So these are expenses that a lot of the constituents are just because of the roads. You could save
Yeah. They
a lot of
incur
these
these
people
expenses and they don't get it
yeah,
back.
thousands of dollars. Yeah, and the
Yes.
government. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, and I feel in it too because my car. I tell you, my car taking a pounding, going on there,
I
and
can imagine.
but thankfully, it's a relatively new car,
Yeah.
so but I'm taking my time.
Yeah.
But
So it's
it
safe
is
to
a
say
challenge.
then that roads then and infrastructure would be one of the major issues that you'd want to tackle.
Yeah. Infrastructure definitely is a major thing for Mayaro and Rio Claro, because the Mayaro Road is bad as well. In certain parts, it's very bad. Um, but it's still how I remember it 40 years ago, Hadassah. It is ridiculous. We're
Yeah.
talking 40
I know.
years difference, and the road, and, and the road still it's too narrow. Two, there's a lot of heavy machinery passes on that road, that Mayaro Garagari road heading down to Galiota Point. And there are sections of that road that is bad. I mean, we
Yeah.
have, we've heard the story before. We have pitch, we have everything that we need here to have good roads. The one thing we should have in this country is good roads. People should not be
At least
complaining
it's
about
true.
roads.
It's true.
So
It's so true.
infrastructure and water is a major issue for the Mayaro Rio Claro area. Um, like I said, a gentleman says
Okay.
3 weeks he hasn't gotten water. 3 weeks. I
Hmm.
mean, look, Subway. We went to Subway in Mayaro Junction. They close the toilets off to the public because they have the water pressure is so low they can't flush the toilets. You understand? So
Wow.
you talking about
Such a
business
shame.
people. You understand that can't even have water in their businesses. I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, and the thing about it is, is it to get away this thinking of for some people. I mean, I've met, thankfully, a lot of people have embraced a lot of what I've embraced the party. I've only gotten like one or two persons that have been pro red. I haven't met anybody so pro yellow that they didn't win in, but mostly the red side, they get one or two persons that, yeah, they don't care. They're sticking with.
Hmm. Oh dear. I think we've lost Sterling again. He's getting a call. Let's just give him a minute. Um, but like he's saying, the issues that the constituents of Mearu are facing, it's such a shame that we still have to be talking about these basic things in 2020. And for a country as well that is so rich, we have so much natural resources and so much money that has passed through our country for years. And yet still, it seems as though we have nothing to show for it. And people are suffering. Are you back, Sterling?
Yeah, I have the phone on do not disturb. I don't know how come the call got in, but but you
That's
know this
okay. That's okay. So let's
technology
go
laws
on.
always
Let's go
cooperates.
on because time
Sure,
is
I guess
yeah,
yes,
time is
yes.
quickly slipping away. I want to know which one of the PEP policies resonates with you the most because you know we all love all the policies, but which one really speaks to you?
Um, well, the thing about it is, personal on a personal level, for me, I like the education part of the PEP policies. But for my constituents, it's the farming is really the number one burning issue,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
I find myself I'll agree that farming is not my strong point, but thanks to Nishan, who's one of my team members, and he has educated me a lot and brought me up to speed with a lot of the farming techniques and a lot of the problems that farmers face. And I'm able now to speak to the constituency now with a little more confidence and understanding of what they're going through and what we can do based on the policies that we have at PEP to make their whole life a lot better and to make the system from bringing from farm to table a lot faster and a lot better for them. You know, a certain quotas, so that farmers, from the time they reap their produce, they have it's already sold. I met look at the simple thing
Yes.
yesterday. We stopped to buy crab coming into Miaro from my aunt who born and raised in Miaro came down with me yesterday, and I mean and the guys was showing me, he say he have bhaji and pimentos here. He say it's not selling because there's a glut on the market with pimentos and bhaji. And they would love that when they produce, they reap their produce, that they don't have to come
Yes.
inside the road to sell it and
Yes.
hope that it sells before it
It's
spoils
sold.
and have to throw it away, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
these are
Yeah.
policies that we have at the Progressive Empowerment Party that a lot of these farmers are embracing. They like that idea because it means to them that every time they bring stuff to market, it will be sold immediately. They don't have to they don't have
Yes.
anything, no wastage, nothing spoiling, and you wouldn't have people over
Yeah.
farming. There's a case of over farming right
Yeah.
now in Rio Claro where cassava was selling pretty decently. Among the farmers who were selling cassava, and then a farmer went and planted 400 acres of cassava and flooded the market, and the price came down to
Wow.
$100 a bag. And basically, a lot of these farmers now they have the cassava now because they plant a lot smaller, they are less acreage, and it's standing up on their hands. It's not
Can't
selling.
get it off their hands.
Not the
That's a
consumers getting it
shame.
at reasonable price. Yes, I mean, but so this
Yeah.
is
But
some of
then
the
the farmer
other than
loses out.
yeah, exactly. So other than pina larceny, when people
Yeah.
stealing their produce, you have within the farming community farmers who have money and have land and have acreage. They're not they're getting into crops that are already saturated already. So because why? Cassava is an easy crop to grow. It's very low maintenance. You know, and it's pretty much you get very little wastage out of it. Now, the
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
is it impacting upon other farmers now. They're losing out on income because the big farms now they could accept $100 a crocus bar because they have weight, they have produce to make back up. But when you only plant 5 acres of cassava,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so these are some of the problems that the
Well, time
farmers
has
face.
so time has slipped quickly slipped away. and I could probably talk to you for the whole hour, but we have Marvin in the wings
Mhm.
waiting to
Sure,
come and
sure.
talk to his constituents as well. So, I mean, quickly before you go, tell your constituents why they should vote for you.
Well, I simply put it this way. I am a son of the soil in Mearo and Rio Claro, and I am not here. I am here to build the trust of the constituents and to work very hard to bring a resolution to a lot of the issues that they have. And and I want people in Mearo to have faith in me and to trust me and to look at a positive move forward. I'm not here to play politics with a lot of them. Like I told a guy yesterday, I said, listen, I don't have money to give you, and even if I did, I'm not going to give you a handout. I say I want to make sure that you could earn a living for the rest of your life and feed your family and to live comfortably. That's my goal and my agenda. To make everybody independent and to have their own. You know, they say you could give a
Yeah.
man a fish and feed him for a day, but if you could teach him how to fish, he could eat for a lifetime. So this is what my aim is in Mearo and Rio Claro to bring independence to a lot of these people, the constituents, so they could earn a living for a lifetime. You understand? And be able to feed their family and live a comfortable life.
Oh, well said. Sterling Leha, everybody. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
And I wish you
Alasa.
all the best on your campaign trail. And
Thank
I'm
you.
going to be seeing you guys soon. I'm keeping the faith.
I hope so. Don't worry. It might be sooner than
Next, we're
later.
gonna. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Next, we're gonna be joined by Mr. Marvin Howard, the candidate for Pointe-a-Pierre. Let's have his introduction queued up. Oh, no, actually, we should go to break. We're gonna take a quick break and then we'll be back with Marvin.
We vote MPP. Progressive Empowerment Party. We vote MPP. Progressive Empowerment Party. Now it's time for real change. We don't want no exchange. PEP is real change. The rest of them is exchange. Now it's time for real change. We don't want no exchange. Now it's time for real change. We vote MPP. Progressive Empowerment Party. We vote MPP. Put your X by PP. Progressive Empowerment Party. Save TNT. Vote PEP.
August 10th, save TNT, vote PEP.
Save TNT. We vote MPP. Save TNT. Progressive Empowerment Party. We vote MPP. Save TNT. Progressive Empowerment Party. Now it's time for real change. We don't want no exchange. PEP is real change. The rest of them is exchange. Now it's time for real change. We don't want no exchange. Now it's time for real change. Save TNT. We vote MPP. Save TNT. Progressive Empowerment Party. We vote MPP. Put your X by PP. Progressive Empowerment Party. Save TNT. Vote PEP.
August 10th, save TNT, vote PEP.
Trinidad and Tobago is in a crisis. For far too long, our people have been abused and silenced by our politicians and the business elite.
Just look around you. People are losing their jobs. Crime is at an all-time high. Our justice, education, and health systems have failed.
We all know the truth behind all that is wrong in our country. Corruption is destroying us. Billions of our dollars are being looted by a small group of business people that use our politicians to divide and distract us.
So they can take what they want, leaving us with no hope for a better country.
All of this is because we've never had leaders who seek the interests of the citizenry as their first priority.
I am here because I'm not taking it anymore.
I am here because I am not taking it anymore.
I am fed up of politics as it is in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is time we elect leaders with the backbone and the love of our people to go after the corrupt, evil elements in our country, hell-bent on serving their own pockets while we suffer.
And it is time that we as a nation take a collective stand against wrongdoing.
So we are making a plea to the nation to rally behind us.
Because our freedom of speech is being threatened by those who don't want us speaking out on these issues.
A man that I greatly respect is one of those leaders fighting for a better country. His name is Philip Edward Alexander, and he has bravely challenged the people and institutions that are destroying our nation.
To date, he has been threatened with 5 lawsuits for having the courage to ask state agency UDCOT on why the renovations of the President's house cost $89 million.
When experts in the field have estimated that that job should have never crossed 20 million.
Where did the rest of our money go?
We refuse to stand by and allow any agency to use our courts to try and silence and punish Philip or any other citizen of our country for trying to seek the truth.
If you're fed up of corruption and want to be a part of real change, support Philip and the Progressive Empowerment Party in this fight.
This fight is not for him or us to bear alone.
It is a fight for you, our loved ones, and our friends.
It is a fight for the future of our country.
You can help by making a contribution to Philip's legal fees and help him and PEP expose the truth and shine light over the darkness of corruption.
Go to our website at peptt.com, click on donate and see all the ways you can pitch in.
There is hope. Our country can be saved, but we all need to stand together. My name is Felicia Holder, Chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, and I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support.
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 I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
Welcome back, everybody. Now we go to the second half of our show where we're going to be interviewing Mr. Marvin Howard of Pointe-a-Pierre. Let's have his bio queued up.
Candidate for Pointe-a-Pierre, Marvin Howard. Marvin Howard was born and raised in Pointe-a-Pierre, where he is raising his own family. A proud family man, he considers his children his greatest achievement. He is an active member of his community, is involved in various charitable endeavors, and is widely respected by the youths in the area. His work experience is in the sphere of heavy industry, starting at the Point Lisas Industrial Estate and moving on to Atlantic LNG. He soon made the leap towards entrepreneurship, making the successful transition to the role of contractor, with a focus on heavy machinery and integrated technology. His drive to see everyone has access to opportunities for success has motivated him to join the Progressive Empowerment Party and offer himself as a candidate to represent Pointe-a-Pierre.
Good morning, Marvin. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
We were getting scared there for a moment.
Okay. No, see it.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. A little bit tired,
All right.
but
I could
I'm good.
imagine. How is it being on the campaign trail?
Well, it has been great so far. The response that I was getting was amazing. Have been amazing. I didn't expect that kind of response when I started, but it's going great.
I could imagine that is probably very encouraging. But the thing is, Trinidad and Tobago, they are ready. We are ready for change. So that could be responsible for the response as well.
Yes. Yes, I really,
All
I
right, so
honestly
let's
believe that.
go ahead.
Listen. Oh, hi, I'm now senior. Yes, could you repeat yourself?
No, I was telling you, you were telling me that you were talking about your constituency and you were saying you honestly believe, and then I didn't hear anything else after that.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly believe that the country is really ready for a change, for a change to
Indeed,
PEP.
indeed,
Yes.
indeed. So tell us about your constituency of Pointe-a-Pierre.
Well, the Pointe-a-Pierre constituency has, well, it's basically since the closure of Petrochin, the constituency majority of it, especially the areas actually surrounding the refinery, has more or less been neglected. And then the people are facing issues with employment mainly. And without employment, the next issue that is arises now maybe crime, because people need to have them need things they need to provide for their family, and some of the people not dealing with it that well.
Yeah, I can imagine. So how has this helped you in terms of doing your work and your campaigning on the ground?
Pardon me?
Tell us about your work on the ground in terms of, meeting constituents and your campaigning. What have you been doing to convince people to vote PAP?
Hello?
Marvin, can you hear me?
It have a delay or something that's still happening.
It seems as though there is a delay. Tell us about your work on the ground in Pointe-a-Pierre.
Okay. Basically, in the Pointe-a-Pierre constituency, the response is amazing. The fact that a lot of people still to find out, still want to know more about the party, because they're showing interest, but because of the media coverage, as we know, the media coverage is not good at all as far as the PEP is concerned. Because I ultimately lost so words, because what I keep going back to is some of the issues that some of the people in the constituency have mainly it's mainly the people that went across and met with that are sick and are seeking assistance, that try to seek assistance from the government or institutions in the constituency, and there wasn't getting anywhere with it. That have my ultimate that I find it hard to deal with it. I was trying to keep my mind off it and go ahead with this meeting this morning, but the
I
question was
know. So
basically
that means
yeah,
so that means the issues would be unemployment, crime, and now when they look for assistance, they can't get it.
yes, basically yes.
So were you to be elected the candidate for Pointe-a-Pierre, which one of these issues you'd want to tackle first?
Well, it'll have most likely a tie between the healthcare and crime. well, it had to be a first place tied for all three: healthcare, employment, and crime. I don't know which order to put it in, but
Yes.
the constituents need assistance in all three areas.
And this is what I've been hearing from talking to a lot of the candidates, that all these communities have been so neglected for so long that there is so much to be done. You can't just pick just one thing. There's so much work to be
Yes,
done.
yes, and to find the
So you know
starting
that we
point
have
would
a
be
lot
where
of policies. Yes, yes, indeed. You know, we have a lot of policies in terms of how we plan to bring TNT back from the dead almost. Which one of our policies do you love the most?
I really didn't have a favorite. Um, it will
Because they're
have
all
to.
good, but you
Yes,
can
they
tell me,
are.
you can talk to me about one of them.
Um, well, I want to talk about the housing, because just like most of the citizens, trying to afford a house is one of the hardest things to do, because we know the prices of the
Indeed.
houses. Pardon me?
I know, I'm just agreeing with you.
Okay. And because of the cost as compared to the income and the cost of living is very hard, because people respond real good to the housing issue, the housing
Yes.
policies, sorry, that we have in place. So I think housing will be one of my favorite policies. Is one of my favorite policies.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, if everybody is able to own their home, it will completely change the socio-economic landscape of our country. And that is why it's such an amazing policy, because you put people who didn't have access to funding, or I should say credit, to be able to get a home. And now these people could have their own home. That is amazing.
Yes, it is.
So I agree with you. That is probably one of the best policies that we have. Indeed.
Yes. Even though all the
So
policies
in
are
your
good.
own words, Marvin, yes, they are. Tell me, why do you think PEP is the best political vehicle in Trinidad right now? And why are you a candidate for PEP?
Well, honestly, it's because I could start at any point, right? Basically, because of the transparency issue, that is why I feel PP is the best choice for the citizens of the country to make, because the accountability, being held up accountable for everything that you do as a government, people in public office, because as we know, the citizens don't have a clue about what going with the other two parties. Because as people keep on saying, it's really two parties that the country have. Well,
Yeah.
and they're now getting a third option. Are you hearing me clearly? Hello? Hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm not hearing you right now.
No, I can hear you. I think there was a bit of a delay, but I can hear you.
Hello?
Marvin, can you hear me?
I probably have a problem with the signal.
Okay, so we seem to be having some trouble with Marvin's signal. We were coming down to the end of the interview. I was really interested in what he had to say, and I agree with him that the citizenry really wasn't aware of how governance was supposed to work, and now with the entrance of PEP into this electoral race, people are starting to understand that what has passed for governance in this country really wasn't. So we're going to be wrapping up today, but I want to, Marvin, can you hear me?
There's a problem with the audio. I hardly hear anything.
Oh dear, but it's okay. We're coming to the end of the interview. We may have to reschedule you for another time, as we're having some trouble, some technical difficulties. But before I go, I just want to appeal to Trinidad and Tobago. We're coming down to the end of this electoral race, and we are in dire need of your help and your support. For those of you who say, you live in a constituency where we do not have a PEP candidate, we still need your help and your support. You can sign up to volunteer on election day, or you can sign up to do walkabouts in other constituencies and help bring the vote in. As well as we need your donations. We still have so many shows to do. We still have so many ads to do, and it takes a lot of money. We're appealing to you to help us save and rescue our country. Marvin, can you hear me? No, he can't, because I would have liked to give him an opportunity to have some closing comments. But yes, like I was saying, we need your help and we need your support. You guys have been very helpful up to this point, but we're in the last 2 meters to the end of the race, and we can really do with your support. So thank you for joining us today. I know we had a little bit of trouble, but we will be back tomorrow. Felicia is actually going to be hosting the show. You guys are going to be happy for her return. I really enjoyed being with you this morning. Thank you for tuning in, Trinidad and Tobago, and the viewing audience. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Safety and tea, we vote MPP. Safety and tea, progressive empowerment.